What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. Watching my back, as always, El Flaco Explosivo, a.k.a. the Alexis Sergio Puppet, the home of the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. You all know the motto: legends, luminaries, world champions, and fighters on the come up, all coming here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rex. My guest is here. We're getting down to it immediately. Let's go. Sergio. Now I just got to get your camera up. What's up, man?
I'm good. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Good, man. I was worried for a minute.
No, you're good. Hold on real quick. Hold up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I've just seen something right now that... Hold on.
All right,
here we go.
Man? What's up?
Not much,
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Good to meet you, man.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on, man.
Am I getting an echo on your end?
No. Is it? Are you? I have my headphones on. Want me to take them off?
Yeah, try that. Let me see if it goes away.
All right, let me see.
I had this happen to me the other day too. Now I don't hear it.
Oh yeah, it was my headphones.
Yeah. So hey, listen, man. I want to ask you, man. And if I get any of this information wrong, certainly tell me, man. But so currently you're 37, right?
Correct.
And now, where do you feel like, man? Because always in the past with an athlete, so much has been made about people in what age is their prime. You haven't really taken like a lot of damage or have a lot of mileage. Where do you feel like you are at 37 in your prime?
Now,
yeah.
I feel like I'm. It's sad to say that, a lot of promoters or managers don't take anybody serious because of the age. But I always tell people, listen, age is nothing but a number. And you said it yourself, I haven't really taken any damage, or I don't have that many miles like other fighters do in me. So to me, I'm in my prime right now.
And did you have a long amateur career?
I had about 30 fights or so.
So that's not really long. And then you turned pro, if I'm not mistaken, in 2021, right?
I turned pro at a very, very, very late age. Correct. Again, I just kind of doubted myself. I never knew if I should have done it, or woulda, shoulda, coulda, but you know what I mean? But I think I was very loyal to my coach at the time.
Yeah.
He never turned me pro. And I just kind of went my own way, afterwards. But
what was the impetus for boxing, man? Like, what started it? What led you to put the gloves on into a boxing gym?
It's funny because it all started with a group of my friends. We were 15 years old when I first started.
Yeah.
14, 15. We all wanted to do something after school. We all decided to hit up our local gym, and boxing was there. And one thing led to another. I decided to stay, and years later, man, I'm still here, still around.
What about your friends, man? Did any of the friends stay with it?
One of them did. He won the blue and gold national tournament, but that was about it. But he never turned pro. He just, did his 9 to 5, got married, had kids, and all that.
So what happened because obviously I was putting notes together and stuff to talk to you about. So out of the gate in 2021, fought 4 times right out of the gate. Then, 5 times in 2021. Then 7 fights in 2022. That's a lot, man. It's a lot. And then 2023, 2 times. 2024, 4 times. So a little bit of inconsistency up and down. Is it just hard to get fights?
It's unfortunate, that I have to manage myself due to the fact that nobody wants to give me an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, listen, boxing is a sport, but yet it's a business first.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
So it's the business side that comes in play. And I had a couple of injuries, but a lot of it is just really business. People promoters and managers wanted to take advantage of other people. It's like, look, nah, man, you're not gonna fool me like that. I've been around the game for a long time, and I know, what I could get around with. You know what I mean?
And so I'm interested to get your take. I've asked other fighters here, man. You do have a draw on your resume, man. What do you take away from a draw, man? What does a draw feel like to you? Does a draw feel like indifferent? Does a draw feel like a loss? Does a draw just really stick with you and make you feel a certain way?
It doesn't bother me because I was screwed from the get-go going into that fight.
Yeah.
They changed my opponent. I was supposed to do a 4-round fight. I debuted at 6 rounds. And I'm a nobody going to somebody's house.
Yeah.
They didn't want nobody. They didn't want me to see me win.
Yeah.
So that's what I got the draw. But honestly, that was a win. I got that win, but it is what it is.
And of course, people who follow boxing, man, like I don't think it's any secret, man, that sometimes there are shenanigans going on, and sometimes the deck is stacked sometimes against certain people.
Right. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened to me, but
I've had this discussion with other fighters on here, even so much as talking about the Tank and Roach fight. Like, if that was Roach that took the knee, would it have been scored the same way? You know what I mean? Because Tank is the A side, you know?
Right, of course.
I mean, you don't know how that would have played out. You know what I mean? Who gets the benefit of the doubt in these situations? You know what I mean? It's not always an even playing field, which is unfortunate. Now, we talked a little bit, offline through text messages before we did this, and I had let you know that that one of the fights that I had seen you in action with recently was against Dion Nicholson, a guy who I have had on here a couple times. I really like the guy, man. Awesome guy, awesome fighter. But you had said that there were some issues going on with you in that fight.
Listen, I'm not here to make a million excuses. I tip my hat off to that guy.
Yeah,
I have nothing against him. He fought his fight, but prior to that fight, I was scheduled to fight him the year before.
Okay.
But I had suffered some injuries due to in sparring. I got cut, so I had to postpone that.
Okay.
They were very upset because I had to postpone. It is what it is. It's boxing. Things happen, right?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. And of course, we saw Tyson Fury have to pull out of a undisputed heavyweight fight with the first time when he got cut. I mean,
exactly. So for the second time, I want to say a month before my fight, I didn't tell my coach. I didn't tell anybody due to the fact, look, this is more on me, but I didn't want to, cause any issues with the promoter or let alone have the fighter say, "Oh, I'm scared of you." Because I feel nobody, man. You bleed just like I bleed. So what's the difference?
Right. Right.
I tore some tendons on my foot.
Okay.
I tore a tendon on my foot that requires surgery. I finally got it. Yeah, man, I wasn't on my 100. I wasn't on my best. I fought injured. I wasn't on my best, but it is what it is. Look, I'm a fighter. I fight, and I did to the best that I could that day. But man, that was not me. That fighter that night was not Sergio Jimenez fighting. But it is what it is.
And what was your upbringing like? Like, were you a kid who was pretty good with your hands as far as like getting in a lot of fights as a kid, or not really?
Man, I always tell people I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, I am too, man. I am too. I mean, I never boxed, but I would still tell people that same thing, though.
You know what? You would see me in the street, man. I mean, I may have a mean demeanor face, but man, I just practical joker. Love to mess around with, just have fun. But if I don't have to, I won't do it. But if I do have to defend myself, of course, I'll defend myself. But I always try to avoid that.
And when you're a teenager getting into boxing, man, are there any guys that you're looking at on TV? When we're growing up, we kind of have those guys we want to emulate, those sports heroes, those idols that we're watching do it. Who are those guys for you?
I mean, if I'm gonna see if you know this guy. Take you back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Jorge El Maromero Paez.
Oh, Paez, sure, yeah, a warrior, yeah.
That was what I got into boxing, man.
Yeah.
It was that guy. He's actually from the same city where I'm from in Mexico.
Yeah, and were there other guys, or was he the guy for you?
Of course, Chavez. And we saw De La Hoya. What I mean.
Yeah, De La Hoya was my guy. I had a guest ask me that last night. Like, I asked him about his favorite fighters, and then I'm hosting the show, but he poses the question back at me. And at first, I don't know why, I felt a little funny saying Oscar, probably because of the whole fishnets and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, Oscar was my guy, man. Should I be embarrassed, man, that he was caught dressed in drag? I don't know. He was still a hell of a fighter, though.
Again, you got to separate that. What he do inside the ring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
he was a hell of a fighter.
Awesome. And he's gone on to do great things as a promoter too.
Exactly. Right.
He was ready to scrap with Bill Haney the other night.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, man, I was a little critical of the festivities from this past weekend, man. I don't know if you watched many of the fights, man. That Times Square card was a snooze fest.
Yeah,
I was
man.
falling asleep. I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due. Teofimo was mildly entertaining in his fight, man. The other two were just boring.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, now people question, was Ryan really on roids?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I think he definitely needs to take a good hard look at like why he's fighting though, because Tim Bradley, was one of the guys really outspoken about saying, is he just doing this for a check and his heart's really not in the right place? He's not really committed to fighting. Because as a fighter, man, you got to be all in. You know what I mean? You can't be half stepping and half assing. Even Devin Haney looks like he's got a little PTSD and a little shell shock. You know what I mean? Like from I know he got his O back, but I mean the world did see him lose.
Right, of course. I mean, at this point, these guys made millions of dollars already. I mean,
yeah,
they don't need to fight, to be honest. They don't need to fight. I mean, do they do it just because of the love or because they have to or what they're used to it? But
right.
I mean, that's on them. I think at one point, if you made enough, you won't. Why not walk out clean and safe? You know what I mean?
I read somewhere today, man, that Canelo's closing in on a billionaire.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
that Turkey guy paid him a lot of money over the weekend.
Yeah. Although I will say though, man, his fight was a snooze fest too, though, man. I don't know though, man. I didn't really I haven't watched it back like that and really dissected it though, dude. I don't know how closely you watched it, but a lot of people feel like that again, being the A side or the B side, that if that William School guy, man, was the A side, he would have got the decision though. A lot of people thought that he did good enough to beat Canelo. I don't know if that's actually true or not.
You know what? I don't think so. But going back to a fight similar like that, when Canelo fought Arizona Lara,
yeah,
I had Lara winning the fight.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I did too.
I honestly did. But again, favoritism. You have an A side, you have a B side, which is unfortunate. But again, this guy's bringing in millions of dollars. Coming in with pay-per-view and all these buy-ins at the arenas and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go where the money's at, right?
I mean, you're a Mexican fighter or of Mexican descent, man. Canelo's a Mexican fighter, man. So let me get your opinion. First of all, it looks like now for sure, they faced them off in the ring this weekend. It looks like the fight with him and Bud's going to happen, man. Where do you rate Bud's chances, man? Just is your own opinion.
Call me crazy. I have Bud Crawford a strong chance, possibly even winning the fight.
Yeah, me too. Believe
it or not, I've always told people, man, don't count him out. I actually give him a fair share. He's very, very talented. Switches from orthodox to southpaw.
Yeah.
Has great footwork. Technique's on point. I mean, would the power generate at 168? I mean, I guess we'll have to find out, but I have him a strong chance of actually winning.
Who are some guys right now, as a fan of the sport, that you enjoy watching who are doing it right now? Like, are there guys when they fight where you say, man, I got to tune in. I like this guy.
Probably David Benavidez.
Yeah, he's my guy too. Yeah, I like him too. Yeah.
I've actually been fortunate enough to spar him as well, so I've been in camps a couple times with him.
Yeah, he's a guy that seems like he's doing it for the right reasons. I feel bad, man, because he did put all his eggs in one basket for a couple of years there and really put a lot of stock in getting a Canelo fight, and then unfortunately it never happened for him.
Yeah, and in the Monster, just over the weekend, that's another one, man. I always, believe it or not, I get up at 2, 3 in the morning whenever he has to fight in Japan. I get up and watch him. Yeah.
He got dropped again, though. He is susceptible to left hooks. He is susceptible. But there were people, and doing this podcast, I try to be in as many boxing groups on social media as I can, try to absorb what people are saying. And there's a lot of people criticizing him and saying, oh, he probably shouldn't move up any more weights. He's going to be running into bigger punchers. He obviously can't take a punch. Is he championship material? But you know what? He gets dropped, man, but he gets up and he finishes strong, though, man. There's a lot to be said for that, man. That shows a lot of character, man. Not that, it's not the biggest deal that the guy gets dropped. And we've seen a lot of guys get dropped a lot, but he gets back up and finishes these guys off.
Man, it's boxing, man. The guy has heart. Again, you said it best. He gets up and finishes. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Now for you, man, So what is your, do you have a fight scheduled in the foreseeable future? Is it frustrating for you because your last fight was September of last year?
Correct.
So that's kind of a pretty good layoff.
Well, again, like I told you earlier, I had my surgery. I was injured.
Yep.
I ended up getting surgery, and I had a couple of weeks off to 6 to 8 weeks to recover from that.
Yep.
I'm just starting to get back in the gym, so hopefully in the summer you'll see me back, wherever it may be.
And are you somebody that's completely committed to being a light heavyweight, or have you fought at other weights? Are you interested in fighting in other weights?
Man, I fought at cruiserweight, believe it, when I first started.
Okay. Where do you feel like you do your best fighting though? Like what feels like home for you as far as weight?
I'm actually coming down in weight, so I should be fighting at a super middle now.
Okay.
So we'll see where my next fight should be a super middle at 168. Let's test waters on that, see how I feel. If I could get lower to 160, I mean, why not? We'll even do that. In the amateurs, I fought at 152, so I felt pretty comfortable there as well.
And for people that don't know, who are tuning into this, who aren't familiar with what you do, man, you're 1-1. 14 of those 16 wins are by knockout, man. So, like, do you like the label of being a knockout artist? Do you feel that's not warranted? Do people sleep on your boxing skills? I mean, what do you see yourself as style-wise?
I have a very awkward style. Yeah. I think people they look at me like they underestimate me like he's nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just go out there and do what I do best and let them get surprised.
Is that a role you relish? Do you like being the underdog?
That's fine. I have no problem with that. I have no problem at all.
I know a lot of guys thrive off of it. A lot of guys prefer to be slept on,
That's better on my end. Exactly. Yeah. To me, like you'll find out. I mean, ask Dion. He'll tell you that night. I'm like, damn, you're one of the toughest fighters I've ever faced.
Yeah.
And he was saying he was going to knock me out.
Yeah, which didn't happen. You guys did go the distance. Yeah, you guys did go the distance. And so how active would you like to be? Like once you get back, man, do you feel like one fight in the summer? Would you like to even get in more than that?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna try and do as much as I can. If I could do 2-3 fights by the end of the year, I'm willing to do it.
Do you have a set? But do you have a set exit strategy? Like like a lot of guys come on here and they'll say, I don't want to still be in the game past a certain age, or I'm not going to fight more than X amount of fights. Have you given it that much thought, or is it still kind of played by ear right now? I'm
gonna go until the wheels fall off, man. Until my body tells me, hey, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh no. But as we speak right now, I feel great. I feel good. I'm motivated. I'm hungrier than ever.
Yeah.
I just want to go out there and perform and, let the fans, the world see who I am.
Yeah. Do you feel like when you do eventually get to the point, and it sounds like you've got a lot of fighting left still to do, but when you hang up the gloves and you're done with performing in the ring, do you feel like you'll always keep a foot in boxing? Are you interested in like promoting or coaching and training yourself? Do you feel like you'll always have a place in boxing?
I think so, because I've been around it for so long, and the time that I've been away from boxing, at least not fighting, I've been getting people other fights. I've been matching. I've been in the gym, just helping whatever I can do. So maybe that's a calling for me. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it does seem like it's a natural progression. You do see a lot of guys like hang up the gloves, and then they still want to stay in the sport. I mean, it's just been, as you said, it's been such a part of their lives.
It's just a big passion of mine, So yeah, I think I really do see myself doing something, whether it be coaching or matching or whatever it can be. But due to me being in the sport for such a long time, I've generated a lot of connections and so forth. So I've done pretty good for myself.
And when you do eventually get back into the ring, I remember ring rust used to be one of those things that you used to hear talked about a lot. Now I ask guys that question a lot, and because guys are gym rats and they're staying in shape year round, You know, they're not like, getting out of shape and then quickly getting into shape because they got a fight coming up. Guys are really staying like, there's so many things at your disposal nowadays, tools and tricks and different stuff to use, at your disposal. So I don't know if ring rust is as big as prevalent as it used to be, but is there anything in the back of your mind? You know what I mean? Oh, like by the time I fight in the summer, it'll be almost a whole calendar year before I fought last.
Well, to me, I believe it is because I was away from boxing. I wasn't even in the gym due to the fact that I have surgery. So I was on crutches. I couldn't walk. I mean, I was away from everything. I couldn't run. I couldn't do anything. So just little by little, I'm just trying to get my motion back. I haven't even sparred, to be honest. So we'll see once I start sparring. But I know for a fact when I first went into the gym, this is barely my second week going in. I feel the fatigue. I feel the difference. From
no doubt
10 rounds to now, like man, But one thing for sure that I did try to do was I didn't want to pig out. I didn't want to eat the whole refrigerator. I was trying to watch my weight, and if anything, I think it does me good because I used to walk at 185, 190. Now I'm walking around, 172. So I know that 168 might be, best for me.
Yeah. Is there any concerns going down to 168? I mean, because you are a guy, as I said, who scored a lot of knockouts, man. Is it anything that you're worried about as far as how it will affect your performance, speed-wise, power-wise, all those intangibles?
Not really. I know the speed will be a little different. These guys will be a little faster, but on the real, I mean, I spar. The majority of these guys are super middleweight, so I'm kind of used to that. Yeah. Usually when I spar guys that are a little, either heavier, and I'm used to their speed. But these guys, I'm always sparring super middleweight. So again, I've been in camp with Diego Pacheco, with David Benavides. So Sebastian Fundora. Yeah. So I'm used to that type of speed. So I think to me it'll be something new, but I'm not so again I'm still used to it. You know what I mean?
What's it like when you're in there sparring with a Sebastian Fundora? He's an interesting character, a guy that fights at like in junior middleweight, but 6'6".
Man, when I actually sparred him, I even told him we were calling around. I'm like, bro, like, did you get taller or why would you just looking out?
I know. Well, because I live in upstate New York. I'm about 15, 20 minutes away from the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So I go up there on Hall of Fame weekend. And it's every year in June. I've been up there other times throughout the year too, but that's obviously a very big weekend. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of comes to upstate New York, and there's a lot of festivities and a lot of stuff going on. And they always put like a Friday night fight card on. And I got a chance to meet him and his sister, man. And I'm 6'4". You know what I mean? I don't look up to a lot of people. I don't look up to a lot of people, man. But I look short next to him.
Right. Even his sister's tall for for that weight class.
Even she's tall. I know. Right. I know. Must be something in the water wherever the hell they're from, man.
Right? Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to work with them, and I've been around their father, so they're super humble, super great people, man.
What's the secret, man? Like, what's the key, man? Because a lot of guys, I don't think anybody's had any luck figuring it out right now, man. You know what I mean? How do you, how do you solve that riddle, man, of getting inside and fighting? Well, maybe that is the key, getting inside on a guy like that.
That's something that I did. Is just kind of just smother him. To be honest, just make it raw and dirty, man. Because this guy, he's very he has his tricks of his trade. He knows what he's doing. He has a great uppercut too. So he will catch me a couple of times. But hey, again, at the end of the day, it's like that was my first time. When I ever sparred him, trying to figure him out. But it's good work. I enjoyed it.
And shout out to one of my favorite guests, man, who I've had on here a couple of times. Just had him on, man, Freddie Rojas, who would like to fight him.
Another friend of mine told me the same thing. I don't know if you're familiar with Brandon, the Cannon Adams.
No, I don't know. Wait. Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different brand. No, why? Is he a guy that wants to fight him?
He just fought not too long ago, earlier in the year. I think it was on the OTX in the tournament at 154.
And he feels like he could solve the Fundora riddle.
Yeah, he said, "Man, I would love to fight him. I mean, he's good guy, great character, but give me a shot at him."
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he fought the older Charlo at 160.
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine.
And so so as a fan of the sport, because it sounds like you're not only are you a competitor, but you sound like you're a fan of the sport too. Have there been any fights that you've particularly been happy to see happen in 2025 so far? Are there any that you're looking forward to that might be coming up?
Well, the one that just passed, but it was kind of like a disappointment.
Yeah, I thought the week before the Conor Ben Chris Eubank Jr. fight was fun.
That one was actually good.
That was fun. Yeah, that was a fight.
That was a fight. That was a hell of a fight. But
yeah.
Watching Ryan and Rolly, I was really looking forward to that one. But nobody, to be honest, nobody expected that, right?
I can't lie though, man. I early on in my podcasting days, I didn't have a lot of respect and ran Rolly down a lot, man. But Rolly in this last year, man, has earned some of my respect. He seems like he's a more mature, a little more seasoned. He's not quite as like is childlike. He seems like he's really reined it in some, and he's a little more, he's a little more focused and a little more, I don't know. He just seems like he's dialed in a little more.
I agree.
Completely agree. I've seen a change in him, for sure. And the way he's responding to the media and stuff, I mean, he just seems like a lot more, you know what? I'll tell you what, I wish I would have made a bet on him. There's people out there that bet money on him that made big bucks.
Hey, I don't blame him. Right now, right? Why not?
I mean, Ryan was a big favorite going into that, man. But I don't know, man. Like, where did you stand on it, man? Did it look like Ryan or Devin really even wanted to be in those fights to you? I mean, a lot of it's body language, man. Like, you've been in the ring.
Nah. To be honest, no. I think they were just picking up another check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Devin really he's been fighting his whole career like that. You know what I mean?
He has.
It's like nothing really has changed for him.
Yeah, he has. And I think there's a difference between being a defensive fighter and having like defensive tools and just flat out just not fighting. You know what I mean? Like we see Shakur and Richardson, Hitchens, and some of these guys, man, who still are defensive wizards, but they still give you a fight.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Devin didn't seem like he wanted to engage at all. And really for the most part, neither did Ryan. What Rolly did really nice was, though, man, he was very committed to keeping that right hand up, man. That really took away Ryan's left hook, man. He was really disciplined with that the whole fight. He really was.
I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, I just felt after Ryan got dropped, he said, "Oh crap, I underestimated his power.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to get dropped again." So he was like, "No, I'm not taking no chances at all. I'm just keeping you safe and just get by with these, with these 12 rounds."
Yeah, because that was a difficult crowd to be, competing in front of. Because they made it sound like when the event was first announced that it was just going to be this big frenzy in the middle of Times Square, and everybody was going to. But it did end up being like more like intimate and more like by invite only. So a lot of the heavy hitters were sitting there watching. Your Bud Crawfords, your Mike Tysons. You know what I mean? A lot of important eyes were on him, man. You know what I mean? So it is a moment where you want to perform like big. You know what I mean? A lot of the who's who of the boxing world were sitting ringside.
I guess pressure got to him. Who knows? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of it was pressure, And I mean, obviously it's hard to perform under that, and not everybody's built for that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, when did you feel like you had like the because I'm always fascinated by the mental aspect of a fighter. I think a lot of the physical stuff, most guys are either born with it and have God-given talent, but a lot of it can be learned in a gym. You know what I mean? You can have a coach show you how to throw a proper jab, how to do a lot of that stuff. But the mental aspect, I think most people will go out of their way to avoid a confrontation with people. You know what I mean? I think most people, do anything they can to avoid a fight. So it's not really natural to climb through those ropes and say, I want to fight another man. You know what I mean? When did you know you had the mental aspect of it? Because I think it does take, not everyone's built for it mentally.
In my opinion, I mean, this is just me.
Yeah.
I think some of these, it's already in you.
Yeah.
At least with me.
Yeah.
Yes, I turned late in my pro career, but again, I have been doing it for so long that to me, I was already mentally prepared. Like, okay, this is what I'm used to. This is what I'm accustomed to.
Right.
All the differences is just smaller gloves and no headgear.
Right.
That's just really the difference. But, again, when I debuted, I didn't do 4 rounds. I went straight to 6.
Yeah, that's rare, right? Yeah,
which
that's
is
rare.
And I went with a guy that had over 50 fights.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I mean, my opponent was changed last minute, which is again out of my control. It was just it was everything was bad, promoter wise, commission and all that. But whatever, I did it, and I think I handled myself pretty well.
Yeah,
despite tricks of the trade. You know, this guy knew what he was doing. Kept headbutting me. Kept doing. I suffered a headbutt that, you know, on my fight. Got a cut on my left eyebrow. But I went in with confidence and like, hey man, this is what I'm used to. This is what I know. Like, let's go out there and perform and do what I do best.
Yeah.
I think it's just within you, to be honest.
So, I mean, this probably hasn't been much of a problem for you because, as I said, you've knocked out a good majority of your opponents, man. But we do still see, and I've been critical of it on this podcast, man, we do still, unfortunately, see a lot of bad scoring and bad judging in the sport. Is it something that enters the back of your mind when you go in? I mean, you know, you happen to have the advantage right now. You know, we're obviously, like, you know, a lot of your fights haven't gone to the scorecards, obviously, because you've knocked a lot of your opponents out or whatever, man. But obviously, a bad decision can derail your career. You know what I mean? You're going one way, and then suddenly you have the judges have a shitty night, and suddenly they're sending you this way. You know what I mean? Is it anything that, I mean, obviously, like I said, you got a nice advantage because you're putting people out of there, man. But I mean, is it ever in the back of your mind, like when you're going to get those scores announced?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Because again, the majority of the time, I'm not favored.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say that if you're going into somebody's house, you know, which is sad to say, A side, B side, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's unfortunate that you have to go to that extent, but there's times where you've seen it in big cards where it's like, man, how the hell did they get a split decision when this guy won damn near every single round?
I know. A couple weeks ago, I just had Terrell Gaucher on here. He just had a bad one against Elijah Garcia.
Yes,
a bad one.
And I've been in a conversation with his father, Elijah Garcia, and I sparred Terrell as well. I mean, I sparred Terrell before, but again, we go back to what we were saying. He's older. He's about my age. Age is nothing but a number. He did a hell of a job, and in my opinion, won that fight. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it wasn't even And to be honest, man, it wasn't even like a close fight. You know what I mean? Like I mean, he damn near shut him out. I know a lot. And again, when I had Terrell on here, he was bitter about the decision. He knows it's not Elijah Garcia's fault. He's not the one. He has no animosity towards him at all. Yeah. I mean, obviously he's in there doing his job. He doesn't make the decision on who wins the fight. But sometimes boxing does want to push a certain agenda. Terrell Gaucher is also 37 years old. Elijah Garcia is a 21-year-old prospect who they really want to move and they want to push, you know?
Right. Terrell, and they're in the promoter's eyes. He's on his way out.
Right.
This young blood in, you know what I mean? This new kids, new face generation.
Yeah, which is too bad, because Terrell Gaucher has been in there with damn near everybody at middleweight too. I mean, he's been in there with the, he's been in there with the, I think with the Erickson Lubins, the Arizlan De Lara. You know what I mean? Like, he's been in there with a lot of big fighters, man. And it just stinks when you're probably that age and you're putting in that kind of work and you're just and you're getting, like not even beaten, but you're just flat out getting robbed. That's disheartening, though.
Yeah, man. It just, again, it makes you even wonder or think like, should I even continue?
I know.
Is it even worth it?
I know.
And treated this way.
And thankfully, Terrell has a great outcome. Like a great outlook, man. And it assured me that he will be back and does still anticipate being in big fights and being in a world title, in the mix for world titles or whatever. So it didn't break his spirit, man, which I was glad to see, because obviously stuff like that, like if it happens to a young fighter, I mean, and they're on the bad end of a decision, I mean, it changes the whole trajectory of your career.
Right. I agree.
I mean, suddenly you're on one path and you're this guy getting a big push, and then the judges turn in some shitty scorecards, and suddenly, man, you're going the other way.
Yeah.
It's sad. These guys have a lot of leverage in what direction you go in. I don't know what the answer is. I've asked other fighters on here. I personally think maybe it shouldn't be 3 70-year-old guys sitting there. Maybe it should be guys in there that have actually climbed through those ropes, even if they did it on an amateur level. Guys that know what it takes to climb through those ropes ought to be sitting there judging when 2 guys fight, I think.
I even a group of friends, and we all talk about boxing and whatnot, but we always say, like, what can be done different in the sport?
Yeah.
Should we, I don't know what, find the judges or have somebody else look at their cards or do an instant replay or
all
something?
Those things. Yeah, all the above.
Right.
Yeah, all the above. I think those guys should at least have to come in and have their, and like, especially if they've got a really crazy one, man. Like some of them are just really lopsided. I think they should at least be called on the carpet and have to come in and validate, like, what, round by round, like, what exactly are you seeing here, and why did you score it this way?
Yeah,
explain
exactly.
yourself. I mean,
Right.
where do you pull this score from?
Right.
Have to answer for yourself. I mean, you're dealing with people's lives here, and a decision like that can alter your opportunities going forward. It can affect you financially.
That's true. Yes, I
mean,
agree.
it changes your, you're trying to make it, this is your livelihood. I mean, you're trying to make a living.
Right.
And so what did you think about the Tank and Roach fight, man? Like, when you did watch it, man, and you see Tank take a knee, man, if you're the fighter in the other corner, you would think you scored a knockdown, correct?
Of course.
It has to be.
I had Roach winning that fight.
Me too. Yeah, I did too.
But again, we can only say so much and do so much, but it's not up to us.
Yeah.
It's up to these judges. But we'll see how the second fight comes around.
Yeah.
But I'm eager to watch that.
And so when you make your return this summer, it will definitively be at 168, though.
That's the plan. So
yeah.
Again, we're still in talks with my coach and my trainer. Let's see what how my body reacts and how it feels, and if everything goes well, then we'll be doing our debut at 168.
See, there's something to be said right there. I've had more and more guys come on here, over the age of 30, over the age of 35, who are saying that they still feel like they're in their prime. You know what I mean? Like, it's really good to see, man, that that attitudes have changed, and that it's not just like you look at an athlete who's 24, 25 and say that guy's in his prime. I think the difference is, I think your body may not be what it was in your 20s, but I think a lot can be said for what you've learned up here. You know what I mean? Right. That can put you in your prime too.
That's true. It's funny you say that, because I asked myself, well, maybe it's God's timing. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that, but let's see. I don't think half the things that I'm doing now, I could have done back then when I was younger.
Right.
At least mentally wise.
Right.
I was stupid. I was young. Right. I didn't care. I was just, doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I think I have matured so much now over the years, where it has led me to do what I'm doing now, and kind of really be more understanding, I guess.
Yeah. And when you're young too, man, you're not as good of a listener because you think you know everything too. I mean, we're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of that.
That's another one, right? Correct.
Yeah. I mean, I take great pleasure in, like, now I've got grandkids, but my adult kids, man, I love the fact that they come to me now and they say, "Geez, when you were telling me that when I was young, now I get it." You know what I mean? Now I understand. Right? Yeah. Now I understand why you were trying to tell me that. Now I'm at a point in my life where now it's making sense to me.
Right. I'm a father myself now, so now I'm like, oh, damn, go back to talking about pops. Damn, Dad, everything you said,
you were right. Yeah. It doesn't always.
I got a 16-year-old son now, so I know one day he's gonna tell me the same thing. And it's crazy.
And where would you stand on your 16-year-old son boxing? Does he have any interest in the sport?
No, believe it or not, he's been around it his whole life, but no. He doesn't like to box. He enjoys watching it, but as far as him actually training, he doesn't do it. He plays football. He's a quarterback, so that's what he does. So
that's probably,
which is crazy, because
that's probably a good thing, though.
It's my little one that wants to fight, and he's only 2 years old.
Oh, he's already yeah.
He sees boxing. He sees my gloves laying around. He goes out there, puts on the gloves, and it just starts punching. So I know maybe that's his calling. I mean, I don't want him to if he doesn't have to, but I'm not going to be that type of father and be like, you know what? No, you can't do that. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it, but give it your all.
And was there anybody that tried to stand in your way? Because I know a lot of times the story I hear on here is that fathers are usually gung-ho about their kids getting into boxing and they're pushing it. But then they'll have like a mother, who might not be so happy about her son wanting to get punched in the face for a living.
It was my mother.
Yeah. Okay. So your mother was against the idea?
They were against it. They wouldn't even take me to the gym. I had to take the bus to the gym. They wouldn't do it. They weren't being supportive, basically.
Both of your parents? Both of them?
Both of them.
Both of them. Okay.
Both of them. Yeah. Matter of fact, I don't think they even went to none of my amateur fights. Now that I think about it.
Have they come around now?
Yeah, now it's crazy because now, you know, they've been to my fights, they enjoy it. My mom's over there screaming her head off on top of her
Yeah.
line, doing
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, in the beginning, I asked her, you know, now that I'm older, I'm like, why were you never supportive? Why did you always like, you know, get in the way of, you know, me wanting to do something? Because I was trying to protect you, you know, as a mom, it's
That's
like
natural.
you don't want nothing to happen to you, you know what I mean? But I saw so much passion and so your hard work and dedication that you put into this that I had nothing left but to support you,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was my mom though.
Listen, bro, I'm glad we got a chance to do this, man. I really enjoyed chopping it up with you, man. Seriously, man. And now that we're in touch, man, stay in touch. And when you got a fight scheduled, we'll hop back on here and we'll do it again, man.
Hey, well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It was great
Go
talking to you, man. This
Dodgers.
was a lot of fun. Yeah, I got my Knicks hat on, and we did good last night.
You did. I give you
Real
that.
good, real good. I mean, we were in Boston down 25 points and came back and won in overtime.
I give you that, man. I give you that. Even though I'm a Laker fan, but I give you that.
Yeah. Listen, man, this was a lot of fun, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. And we'll stay in touch. I'll probably have the episode up in the next day or two. I'll send you the link and you can share it around.
Sounds good, man. God bless.
Yeah.
Have a good one, bro.
Appreciate you, man. You too, man. We'll talk again, brother. Thank you.
All right, bro. Later.
All right, later. And there he goes, folks. Sergio Jimenez, 16-1-1, 14 big wins coming by way of knockout. I sounded like a ring announcer right there, man. Maybe I'm missing my calling in life. But that is Sergio Jimenez. Light heavyweight, now sounding like when he comes back from his surgically repaired injury that he will be competing at super middleweight, 168 pounds. So best of luck to him. Sounds like we're going to see him back in action in the summer, man. Fully recovered, fully recuperated, man. That's good news, man. So tap in, man. Go back and watch his previous fights. He's been in the ring, lost a decision to my guy, Dion Nicholson, who I love, who I've had on here a couple times, man. The Equalizer, who has a big fight coming up himself, man, on Deontay Wilder's undercard. Let me put that out there. Sometime in June. The date is escaping me. Sometime mid-end of June, he will be back in action in the big return of Deontay Wilder. But Sergio Jimenez, soon to be a 168-pounder. At least that's the plan right now, straight from his mouth. So looking forward to him coming back, man, and picking up where he left off, which was knocking motherfuckers out. So hopefully stays the course, does the same thing, man. And I love what he said about being 37 years old and feeling like he's in his prime. As a 52-year-old guy, it inspires me to see these guys, man, who are talking about their prime and not correlating it with age, you know, correlating it with how they feel, mind, spirit, body, and saying, hey, where I am right now, I feel great, man. I feel like this is my prime. I love that we've moved the goalpost, man, on the whole prime thing, where it's not just, oh, he's 22, he's in his prime. You know what I mean? You physically, you might be a little better then, but by the time your body is seasoned and your mind is more seasoned, prime can become a very different thing, man. So great talk with him, man. Appreciate Sergio Jimenez coming on here, man. Hope you guys dug that episode, man. Make sure, of course, to like and follow Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. There you'll get your updates on new episodes, when they're dropping, who will be on the episodes, and any other big boxing news I can put up there. If you tap in Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook, you will be informed. If it's popping off in the fight game, it will be on that page. Announcements on big fights, fight results, breakdowns, analysis, predictions, viral videos. Like I said, if it's jumping off in the fight game, man, I'm putting it up there, keeping you guys in the loop. And of course, if you're on this channel right now, make sure to like, subscribe, smash that notification button to stay tapped into the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. You guys know the tagline: legends, luminaries, world champions, fighters on the come up. They're all coming here to chop it up with your boy Reckless Rex, because even they know that this is the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. And the good news is, you sitting at home can be a champion yourself. And all you got to do, it's very simple. Just continue to stay tapped into this podcast and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.